Friends, this heartwarming story of a mother and son will touch your hearts deeply. Did you know how a virtuous son made the ultimate sacrifice in his life to fulfill his mother's dream of performing Hajj? This miracle unfolded when Abdullah had the rare opportunity to perform Hajj alongside his beloved mother. Today's video is bound to move you to tears and teach you the invaluable lesson of how great the reward for serving humanity can be. So, I encourage you to watch the full video to learn this inspiring story. Subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends so we can all spread this true and touching tale together. Today, we are going to narrate an extraordinary incident involving a mother and her son during their Hajj pilgrimage. Once upon a time, in a bustling city, there lived a devoted mother and her loving son. The son's name was Abdullah, and he was the pride and joy of his mother. Abdullah's mother was known for her kind heart and virtuous nature. She had raised her son with love, care, and values that emphasized the importance of compassion and generosity. Abdullah was acutely aware that his mother had a deep, heartfelt wish, but she never expressed it openly. However, during his childhood, he had overheard her mentioning it on several occasions. She often used to say, "My Abdullah will take me for Hajj when he grows up, stands on his own feet, and becomes my support." Now Abdullah had matured into a responsible young man, and he was working hard to earn a living. However, due to the nature of his job, which wasn't very well paying, his mother eventually ceased expressing her wish to avoid putting any pressure on him. Understanding the struggles of life, she decided to remain silent, not wanting to burden her son with her desires. Despite this, Abdullah had made a promise to himself that he would one day fulfill his mother's dream of taking her for Hajj. For a considerable amount of time, Abdullah diligently saved money, making small sacrifices here and there. His mother, too, was not one to waste resources. Whatever little she earned, she consumed with great care. She was content and grateful for her son's respect and efforts to keep her happy. His mother often urged Abdullah to consider marriage, believing it was time for him to settle down and start a family. However, he persistently refused, as he was not ready to take that step yet. The real reason for his reluctance was clear. Abdullah was acutely aware that if he married, his expenses would increase significantly. He understood that any money he had been saving for his mother's Hajj would be redirected to the costs of a new family. After marriage, he would have to bear the financial responsibilities that came with a wife, and soon enough children would follow, adding even more to his financial burdens. He knew that to fulfill his family's needs, he would have to work even harder, making it increasingly difficult to save any money as he had been doing. Then one day, after years of hard work and sacrifices, Abdullah finally had enough savings to perform the sacred pilgrimage to the house of Allah. After saving for so long, he was overwhelmed with joy because he was about to fulfill his mother's long-standing wish. He withdrew all his money from the bank and set out for home, excited to share the delightful news with his mother. He felt an immense sense of happiness just picturing the moment when he would reveal to her that her dream of performing Hajj was about to come true, fulfilled by her beloved son, Abdullah. As he was walking home, feeling a rush of excitement and anticipation, he was suddenly approached by a friend who appeared distressed and was visibly crying. His friend looked at Abdullah, his face marked by worry and fear. "Help me, Abdullah. My son has fallen from the second floor at home, and he has suffered a serious head injury. He hasn't regained consciousness yet, and the doctors are insisting he needs urgent surgery. For this operation, a significant amount of money is required, and until we gather the funds, the surgery cannot begin," his friend pleaded desperately. Abdullah listened intently as his friend continued, "Please, for the sake of Allah, help me. He is my only child and means everything to me. I must save him, or I will die without him." His friend kept reiterating his plea, expressing his helplessness, saying, "I don't know anyone else who can help me in such an urgent situation, Abdullah. You are my only hope." Abdullah felt his heart sink upon hearing the desperation in his friend's voice. He felt a profound sense of sadness and compassion for his friend's plight. Now he found himself torn between fulfilling his mother's wish for Hajj and the urgent need to save his friend's son's life. All the effort he had invested in saving this money for his mother's Hajj suddenly seemed overshadowed by this unforeseen crisis. In that moment of turmoil, Abdullah recalled his mother's wise words echoing in his mind. She had always taught him the importance of helping others, saying, "Abdullah, when someone comes to you for help, do not hesitate to assist them. Allah loves those who help others, and Allah never leaves anyone in debt. Whatever you give, Allah will reward you tenfold, and your good deeds will never go unrewarded." With these thoughts swirling in his mind, Abdullah made a difficult decision. He chose to help his friend. He reached into his pocket and withdrew the money he had saved for his mother's Hajj, handing it over to his friend. "Take this, my friend. It's not much, but I hope it helps you gather the funds needed for your son's surgery." His friend, filled with gratitude, thanked him profusely and rushed off to the hospital, while Abdullah returned home, his heart heavy, yet somewhat at ease for having done the right thing. Upon arriving home, Abdullah's face reflected a mix of sadness and contentment. Although he felt happy to have helped his friend, he was deeply saddened by the fact that he could not fulfill his mother's long-desired wish. When his mother noticed his melancholy demeanor, she asked about the cause of his sadness. Abdullah skillfully avoided the topic, diverting her attention, and after performing his evening prayer, he fell to his knees, praying earnestly. Tears streamed down his face as he prostrated before Allah, praying fervently, "O Allah, you know the state of my heart. I wanted to take my mother for Hajj, but now I cannot. I have no resources left. I am empty-handed. I don't know how much time I have left with my mother, or if I will ever be able to fulfill her wish. I have spent so many years saving this money, and now I lack the strength and determination to start over for my mother's Hajj. O God, I earnestly pray that you grant my mother patience. If she cannot perform Hajj in this life, grant her the reward of Hajj in the hereafter. My mother has a pure heart. Grant her the immense reward of Hajj." The next morning, as he returned to the office, he was greeted by the sight of his friend, who immediately rushed to Abdullah and embraced him. "How can I ever thank you enough, Abdullah? Your selflessness saved my son's life." Abdullah shook his head and replied, "It was not me. It was Allah's grace that saved your son." His friend nodded earnestly, expressing his profound gratitude. Abdullah, being a man of good character, had a reputation for his virtuous nature. At his workplace, there was an annual lottery for Hajj, and 2 individuals were selected to be sent on a company-sponsored trip to Hajj. As fate would have it, this time, both Abdullah and his friend's names were drawn for the pilgrimage. However, a wave of worry washed over Abdullah as he realized he would be unable to take his mother with him on this blessed journey. His friend noticed the concern on Abdullah's face and inquired, "You should be overjoyed that you are going to the house of Allah, but why do you seem troubled?" Abdullah explained the entire situation to his friend, detailing his struggle and his desire to take his mother for Hajj. His friend, however, smiled and said, "Today is the day I repay your kindness." Abdullah looked at his friend, confused, and asked, "What do you mean?" His friend replied, "You take your mother along with you in my place." Abdullah's heart swelled with joy upon hearing this, and he hugged his friend tightly. Thus Abdullah and his mother embarked on their Hajj pilgrimage together. During the sacred journey, a family accompanying them noticed Abdullah's unwavering devotion and care for his mother. They watched in admiration as he lovingly fed her with his own hands and gently massaged her tired feet. This family was so impressed with Abdullah's character and the love he displayed that they approached him with a marriage proposal for their daughter. As destiny would have it, the culmination of Abdullah's kindness and selflessness brought him to a beautiful conclusion. His marriage was officiated in the sacred grounds of the Prophet's mosque in Medina. Subhanallah. Friends, it is indeed true that the bond of humanity is the greatest. When you extend a helping hand to those in distress and support someone in trouble, Allah rewards you beyond measure. So my dear friends, if you ever encounter such a situation in your life, make every effort to help others to the best of your ability, with a sincere heart and a selfless attitude. The best rewards come only from Allah, who sees every act of kindness. May Allah grant us all the opportunity to perform Hajj and Umrah, inviting us to His blessed abode. Ameen.